Okay. Question. If you're online, you can give thumbs up or maybe put a halo. But honest question. You got to be honest. You're in church. You can't lie, or you go down there. No, I said that in the first one. I said if you lie, you go to hell. And a lady went, "Oh!" like so loud. So that really happened. Anyways, but be brutally honest here. Okay. How many of you would say, by a show of hands, just be honest? You know, you have really dumb people, really smart people, and then you have average intelligent people. How many of you, by a show of hands, say, I think I'm at least above average in intelligence, right? Okay. Okay, so you did just like the 9:30. There's like two hands. I guess, right? Okay, so that means you think you're dumber than the average person? Raise your hand. You're dumber than the, okay. If you're like, okay, I get it. Me too, but for most of us, how many of you would at least say, okay, I'm a better driver than the average person? Okay. Come on. Yeah. My wife's saying no. She's like, you got to drive and we'll kill somebody. Like she just stares off all the time. Yeah. I got a confession to make to you guys, okay? I am right pretty much all the time. And it is so, maybe a little sarcasm, but it is difficult to be that right that much. And I just want you guys to know, because I feel like my role in this job, if you ever want to know questions on like, let's just break down some stuff that would be like kind of hot issues. In the church world, in the Bible Belt, okay? A couple things would be like women, what's their role in the church? In the Bible Belt, that's a very big deal. Come to me, I'll tell you the exact answer. I'll have verses to prove that, right? If you're wondering, you know what, Trent, I just don't know. I don't know who to vote for. Come talk to me. I can tell you the right person to vote for. It's exhausting to be right this much. No, I'm being sarcastic. But the truth of the matter is, if we're honest, I think a lot of us would honestly say, yeah, I think I'm right most of the time. If you don't believe me, get on any social media. Get on any of them. And people are just telling you how right they are all the time. That's how it works. So Jesus is in this series, and this is the reason I want to talk about it. In the series we've been doing, we're in week 5. And we got one more week next week, probably going to be my favorite. But this week is our core value where we say we take God really serious, but never ourselves. We want to take God really, I hope when you walk in here, it's never like, oh, well, I guess it's God. Like, we want to take God very serious here, but we never want to take ourselves serious. A friend of mine who's a pastor, and he would be what I would call probably a little more buttoned up, professional. He's very intelligent. And we were about 3 years into C3. They were off. He came, he visited. And I'm talking to him afterwards, and I'm so intrigued because I know it's just not his style, how he would do anything. And I was like, so what did you think about it? And he was like, it was different, real different. And he talked a little bit more. But one thing he said, and he was a great friend, so we really like each other. But he said, I think for me, probably the biggest problem is, he said, I think you should be more serious. And as soon as he said you should be more serious, I said, I don't think I think I'm probably too serious half the time. And the reason I tell you guys that, because as we're about to see today, religion gets really, really good at making a big deal out of us. It does. And what we do, and did you check the boxes? Are you keeping the rules? Are you da-da-da? Like religion, even in Jesus' time, is all about me and taking me very serious and taking you very serious. And people can't mess up. We can't do anything wrong. But Jesus came on and said, no, that's not how this good news works. So, as we said every week, and what you hear, our purpose statement, our purpose is to help you find your purpose. And one of my favorite verses, John 10:10, read it every week, says the thief's purpose. So the thief, the enemy has a purpose. It's to steal, kill, and destroy. My purpose, this is Jesus talking, is to give them a rich and satisfying life. Now, I want you to think about this. There's 2 routes to go here. And I would argue this morning for all of us here, you can live your whole life being right and still be wrong in the way you treat others. Say that again. You can live your whole life, and maybe you're right all the time, but I can live my whole life trying to always be right, make a point, and be wrong in how I treat and love others. And the greatest example we have of that is actually Jesus. So young people in here, I would say this for you too, just to help you out for your future relationships, okay? Some of you have been married for years. Maybe you need to hear this too. But I think one of our biggest problems in all of our relationships is, if we're honest, we just think that we're right all the time. And when someone does something wrong, when they offend us, when they say something they shouldn't, oh, we're appalled. It's scandalous. Because why? Here's what we say. Even if we don't say it out loud, we say it here. I would never say that to anybody. Right? Anyone been in a marriage fight? What is it? Well, I would never say that to you. Well, you did last week, honey. Right? You want me to show you the recording? You said it 3 times, and you doubled down because you didn't think I heard you. But sure. Just me. I'm doing that. right? We become scandalized. And then it has to be in that kind of relationship, at work, at home, wherever. Well, I can't believe. And what we're really saying is, I can't believe they would do that because I would never do that. I would never be selfish, right? And we all have levels of how we judge people. We do it all the time. In the church world, it's just kind of like, well, at least I'm not a druggie, right? I'm not. Oh, so we're going to critique people on drugs? Wait, why? Because they're taking substances to make them feel good? What about the legal substances you take to make you feel good, right? It's literally, no, I get it. We got to judge because I would never do that. I would never say that. And part of the reason we have so much damage in our relationships is because we have this kind of, I'm right, the way I do things is right, the way I would have handled that situation is always right, and if you don't get along with my game plan, well, then you're clearly wrong, right? That's how we operate. And the reason I love this story we're going to read today, it's a really short story, it's only like 5 verses, is Jesus is going to kind of lay into this concept, especially in the religious world, where we're always right. We're the beacons of truth. We're the people you've got to look at because they lead the way. That's the way they believed back then. That's the way we believe now. So I got a question for you. What's your honest goal? When you really think about your life and the situations you get in, what's your honest goal? Is it to be right or be love? What's your true goal? I would argue anytime you're in kind of gets heated with somebody else and you're kind of going back and forth, is your first moment right then, how do I show them love? Or is it to make sure they know that I'm right? I would argue most of us in here are like, I need to be right, right? We double down. So I was thinking about this. Both my kids are here, my wife's here, and you can ask them after. Maybe I just don't see myself the way that I should. I'm not a real strong, like, I'm right, guarantee. I'm really not. Even matter of fact, when someone comes at me and it's an opposing view, I try real hard first to say to myself, Trent, you might be wrong, you might be wrong, you might be wrong. I try to say it 3 times in my head real fast while they're talking to me because I want to remind myself, I could be wrong here. And I also enjoy when people kind of come at me with opposing views because I'm like, it helps me. Sometimes they say something, I'm like, I never thought. So that's my personality. So this morning I thought, I'm going to kind of be judging you guys because I don't do the stuff most of you do. I don't do rants on Facebook, blah, blah, blah. But then something happened last week. Last week at the 9:30, I was in a meeting back there with like our church leadership team, our elders. I came back out. I wasn't in here. I came to 11, which many of you were sitting in, and I'm back there running our live stream, and Aaron Fields is up here, and he starts talking about his dog. As soon as he said his dog, I heard a collective in this group go, oh. And it got worse. So I'm just like, I'm up there getting mad, okay? And let me tell you this, public speaking 101. They say in public speaking, one of the best things you can do is try to get all of you on my side very quickly, okay? So I've got to say something early that makes you think, oh, I might be like him. I've got to get you on my side. What I'm about to say to you is going to make you not be on my side, okay? I don't care about pets. Oh, to say that about Fluffy. Fluffy is a member of our family. No, he's not. He's a dog, right? I have a friend of mine. He's coming and he's like, think you can come over and pray? I was like, for you? For your house? What? He's like, my dog. I said, are you serious, man? No. I've got a million things to do over this. I see, some of you right now, you're getting worked up. You're like, that is not. Do you know what a pet is? A pet is an animal 200 years ago. They ate and said, it doesn't taste good, right? Just let them run around. We'll treat them like humans. It's crazy. But I'm up there, and he shows a picture of his snickerdoodle or Labrador, whatever his dog is. Actually, I said that in the first one. I know what it is because collectively a group yelled back, it was a Frenchie. So he shows his Frenchie, right? He shows it on screen. I'm not kidding. I'm back there, and collectively the picture came on. I'm looking at that screen. Oh. I literally sat there praying and said, God, I don't want to lead these people anymore. I don't. Matter of fact, it made me so mad. I'm starting a new church next week, C4, like C3, way more explosive. It's not a joke. Anyways, no. What's your goal, though? And I would say, hey, you know what about the cat? I offended the cat owners years back. They left years ago. But here's the story. Check this out. This is pretty good. Verse 9. And then Jesus told this story to some who had great confidence in their own view that pets are just animals. No, it doesn't say that. Jesus told a story to some who had great confidence in their own political views because they're right. No, didn't say that. Who had great confidence in their own religious stance on fill in the blank, translation, what you wear, how you worship. No, he didn't say that. He said, no, these people had great confidence in their own parenting styles. And can I just say this real quick to all you older parents? You forgot a lot about when you raised your kids. Well, when we were studying, my baby was so quiet. So your baby who was 1 year old never made a peep? Never. No, we disciplined him. Okay, you spanked your 2-month-old? Like, come on, man. No one's buying this. But we forget. We just remember the good time. Well, I tell you, as a parent, I wouldn't do that. Right? Again, ask me for advice. I got all the answers. You want to know spanking, non-spanking? I can give you all these because I'm always right. Now, we mock that, but we feel that way. All of us in this room. Look what he said. People had great confidence in their own righteousness. If you keep fighting for position, you will never find your place. If you keep jockeying to get wherever spot you're at, you're going to actually miss out on your place. Look at verse 10. 2 men went to the temple to pray. One was a Pharisee and the other was a despised tax collector. Now, in this culture, it would basically be like me saying, 2 men went to pray at the church. There was a priest or pastor or whatever, and then there was a despised and fill in the blank of whoever that is for you. For some of you here, that would be like, oh, well, that's a Democrat, of course. They're despised. Some of you on the other side, like, no, it's absolutely, they're so dumb. What are they even thinking? I get it. Whoever in your mind, that group you despise, this was worse. A despised tax collector to them, it was like you had prostitutes, you had thieves, you had, just bottom of the barrel people, and then at the end it would be like, they literally, you could talk to the knucklehead and he'd be like, at least I'm not a tax collector, I don't sell out my own people, and they'd be like, exactly. They're the worst people in our society. So these 2 people go to pray, a religious person and tax collector. The Pharisee stood by himself and prayed this prayer. I thank you, God, that I am not like other people. This prayer is awesome, by the way. So good. I thank you, God, that I'm not like other people, cheaters, sinners, adulterers. I'm certainly not like that tax collector who must have been in the back somewhere. I fast twice a week, and I give you 1/10 of my income. Now, did you check that out? This really isn't a prayer. It's like a resume. God, I fast twice. In my mind, I picture Jesus probably telling a story way better, but laughing. It's like, wait, God said, wait, you fast twice a week? Oh, wait, let me take notes here. It's almost like he's saying, hey, God, take notes of what I'm about to tell you, that I'm so thankful for all that I do. When I was in 7th grade at Sims Valley, they said in school you had to take art, which I love because I like drawing, but then you also had to take 1 music class. And I remember sitting with my buddies, and we're like, man, I don't take music this year. It's going to be awful. Mr. Payne taught the class, amazing teacher, loved music, but I was just like, I don't like it. I don't want to be there. I remember we walked in the very first day, and he said this. He said, at the end of the semester, every one of you has to sing 1 solo. I'm going to play the piano. You pick it can be 1 verse, 1 chorus. You got to sing. And in that moment, I was just like, I'm freaking out. I'm going to have to stand up in front of all my classmates, all 9 of them, right, and sing solo. So I had to pick a song. You know what song I picked? My favorite song to this day. He would get on the piano and he would go, dun, dun, dun. Here it was. Ready? I'll give you my rendition. Do, re, mi, 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 mi. Wait. He said there's more to that song, but that's the only part I stopped on every time. Now think about it. But is that not us? Here's the Pharisee. I know. Do, re, mi. I'm struggling in my marriage because of me. I can't get along with anybody at work because of me. Oh, no, you don't understand me and my situation. Me. See, some of you are like, can you shut up? That's so annoying. Yeah, it is, isn't it? It is. Some of us live on that constant repeat. Here was his prayer. Do, re, thank you, God, for me and all the things that me does. And I know it's bad grammar, but I got to keep the theme of me and me. Right? It's not a good way to live. But that's how it is. And I want you guys to hear this because you can be right and still be wrong in the way that you treat other people. You can. And I'll say this. You may even make a great point, but you'll never make a difference that way. You won't. You might be the greatest, like, I gave it to him online. Did you see what I said to him? But you don't make a difference that way. We don't. Matter of fact, I'll prove this, okay? I'm going to give you guys my religious resume, just real quick. I'm not trying to brag, okay? Take it for what it is. I read my Bible every day, at least 1 chapter every morning, literally as soon as I wake up. No, I take that back. As soon as I wake up, my wife will verify this, I do a Tabata row on a rowing machine and kill myself. Then after that, I go in, take my supplements that I take, and then I go read one chapter of the Bible many times on the toilet, okay? Then I pray. I do that every single morning. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't cuss. I don't chew. I don't vape. I take my wife out on multiple dates throughout the week because we're empty nesters. Now, are you guys proud of me? Do you want to hang out with me now? Well, the bottom line is half of that isn't true. I made up half of that. I can't do half of those things, right? So that was a lie. I don't even do half of those things. Some of those things I do, actually. No, that doesn't pull you in. You don't hear someone give their resume and say, I want to hang out with that guy more. Right? This is the church world. It's like, I remember growing up and didn't go to really church like that, and then I became a teenager, and I was like, I get these people are nice, maybe, or good, but I don't want to be around them. Why? Do, re. You're like, oh, God, he's doing it again. Me, right? That's how we operate. That's how we operate. But that wasn't Jesus. Bad Christians happen to good people all the time. They do. And I was thinking about this. Think about Jesus for a second. Jesus is the most right person to ever live. If you believe what all Christians would believe about Jesus, they would say he's the perfect, sinless Son of God. All believe that. I mean, you can go Catholic, Presbyterian, you can go Dental, Baptist, don't matter. They all would say they believe that. He is the perfect, sinless Son of God. We believe that. If he was the most right person, which means if he's perfect, he was never wrong in an argument, then how come we don't see him really squaring off with people? How come we don't see him like, I'll tell you this, He never did that. You know why? Because Jesus knew it's way more important to be loved than being right. It's way more important that they see the heart of my Father than me proving myself to all these people. So what if we realize maybe our goal isn't to be right, but it's to be love? Second thought, you can perform for people, but not for God. Now, I want to talk to the people who are younger than me in this room, okay, for just a second, because my heart breaks for you guys. I have two kids. They're both literally juniors in college. My heart breaks for them, and I'm going to tell you why. When we were kids, we did awful stuff, right? We all were doing idiotic stuff. But one, you didn't have cameras. Thank God we didn't have cameras, right? I would literally be on screen right now in a prison talking to you guys from two things they filmed about me from literally 1996. I'm out. But here's why I really feel bad for him. It's not just that. My kids live in a world where people have cameras all the time, and they're just waiting to out everybody. Can you believe what they said? It's like cancel culture at its finest. Right? Why? Because what everybody's trying to do is I'm trying to catch you up to prove I'm right and you're wrong. I'm trying to prove, no, my way's right. So I want to catch you in maybe your lowest moment when you blow up on someone, say something you shouldn't have said, but I freeze frame that one moment and I make that you. Can you imagine that pressure? I feel awful for him. At least we did dumb stuff, but it's like, did you tell anybody? No, did you? No, I won't. Okay, we're done. Case closed. Why? Because that's the culture. You've got to perform. I love what one author said. He said, when you wear a mask, only the mask gets loved. Think about that. You see, if I want to perform and play the game, then even when you're talking like, hey, blah, 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 you're good at this. It's like, yeah, it's just the mask. You can only love the mask. Look at the second part. Verse 13. It says, but the tax collector stood at a distance and dared not even lift his eyes to heaven as he prayed. Instead, he beat his chest in sorrow, saying, "O God, be merciful to me, for I am a sinner." Now, I'm not good at grammar, but that's not even a good prayer. It's all broken up. It's all botched up. He doesn't even say complete sentences. He just says, "Oh God, be merciful to me. I'm a sinner." Why? He's just being honest. He's literally being honest. Now, a good friend of mine comes to 9:30. He was here this morning. I called him out for a little bit because every now and then, once or twice, every few weeks, we'll have breakfast. And we're having breakfast. He has a bunch of older guys with him, and they're all Christian church people, all of them. So I'm sitting there, of course, and I can talk the game, and they're talking about all this different stuff. But my favorite thing was, it's like a year ago, they all like, well, who's going to pray? And I'm just sitting there like a moron, like, I'll pray, right? So I pray. Since that day, I promise you, anytime we get ready to eat, they'll be like, who wants to pray? I'll raise my hand, and they just put my hand down. You're not praying. You know what? Here was my prayer that morning. This is all I said. Jesus, thank you. Amen. And they were so disappointed in me. My good friend Larry said, he said, that's not a prayer. I said, like heck it is, right? I didn't cuss because I'm a Christian, but I was like, but Larry, you could tell he was like, you can't, like it's too short. And I've made jokes about that because I remember a lady when I went to Myrtle Tree as a kid, as a teenager, I remember one day she said, said the guy's name, said, I just love to hear him pray. And that was weird to me. I don't get it. What's a great prayer? When you guys pray, what is it? Oh, God, I beseech you now before thy holies. Okay, you can do that if you like it. But look at this guy's prayer. Ready? Here it was. God, help me. God, I need you. God, thank you. I argued with my friend. I said, you know what? I love to eat. I'm kind of a somewhat chubby guy. When I look at God and say, God, thank you, because I'm about to eat, I mean every word of it. I'm more thankful than probably any of you here before you eat. Thank you. Thank you. God, help me. God, you see, we're like, well, that's not a great prayer. That might be the best prayer you could possibly pray. You're not different. You're just desperate. And that's what people don't see. We're all desperate in different ways. So my wife, I'll tell you this real quick. A week ago, she told me this, and I was like, hold on, I'm going to make a note of this because I want to share it one Sunday. I didn't think it would be this Sunday. It was just like 2 weeks ago. But we have an in-ground pool. Yes, we're rich. I'm sorry, okay? I'm sorry. You can't hide money, guys. You just can't. We bought our house, had an in-ground pool. It's green most of the time. It's leaked. We have a liner that's like 18 years old. It leaks a lot. Fair enough. But we have an in-ground pool, so I'm going to flex a little bit to all you above-ground pool weirdos, right? Hey, look at our feet, right? We're diving in our pool. That's how good it is. No. Anyways, but she came in, and she's like, for the last few weeks, there's a little frog in our pool. And she's been on me like, hey, call the guy. We got to get the pool closed, blah, blah, blah. Like, okay. But every week, she said, I'll go out there and be out looking at the pool, and this frog's on the water, and he can't get out of the pool because our water's dropped, obviously because our liner doesn't work. But the water's dropped, and it's stuck in the water. And she said, so I'll go get a net and go get ready to scoop it out. And as soon as I put the net down, it goes under the water. And here's what she said. She was like, I wish it just knew I'm trying to help it. Because when we close this pool, this frog will freeze to death. He's going to die. Now, you guys want a positive end to the story? There isn't one. He's still in there, and he's probably dead now, okay? Sorry, I told you I don't like pets. I don't care. Animals. No, just kidding. But we didn't get it out. So, but here's my thing. I got thinking about that. Think about, here's this frog that literally has someone trying to save it, and it can't see it. It can't see it. It can't see. And I thought, the only way we're ever going to, I know this is such a dumb illustration. I need to move on. The only way we're ever going to help Mr. Frog or Mrs. Frog, I'm not sexist, is real simple. I'd have to be able to speak frog. Or I'd have to get turned into a frog. So here's what I would say to you. Isn't it amazing that God said, they don't get who I am. They can't even understand my language. So he literally took his son himself and came to earth. Why? So he could speak to us and say, you guys have no clue how much my Father loves you. So, what's your goal? Be right or be loved? Understand this. You can perform for people all day and they'll applaud for you and they'll say you're amazing and you can wear the mask and at night you get to take off the mask and realize they didn't really probably even know you anyways, but they love the mask, so keep wearing the mask. You can do all that. But you can't really perform for God. God likes honesty. God celebrates honesty, not hype. You see, this Pharisee was comparing himself like we do on Facebook and Instagram with his prayer. Well, at least I'm not like them, whoever them are. So look at the last part. Jesus said, I tell you, the sinner, not the Pharisee, return home justified before God. For those who exalt themselves will be humbled, and those who humble themselves will be exalted. Now, you guys didn't feel that because you grew up like me in 2025 in the United States, and I get it. But hear this. When Jesus said the Pharisee went home not right with God, but the sinner was justified. And I want you all to hear this today. You can take it however you want. It may offend you, but you need to hear it. They would have went, oh, because in their religious view, a sinner like a tax collector could never be right with God because of their lifestyle. Never. Now think about this for a second. This guy doesn't say, I'll change my ways. I'll start doing this. God, get me right. He doesn't even say I'm changing anything. He says, look, I know what I am. Right? We live in a world that's like, no, hey, if you fix yourself, then we can approve of you. If you walk in these doors and act like you got it all together, then we can all smile. But don't you dare ever tell us the real truth about you. Don't tell us about how you're struggling. Don't tell us about the things you think in your own head. No, no, no. Fake it till you make it. They all went, oh, no, a tax collector can't be right because look at their lifestyle. You can't live a lifestyle like that and be right with God. And Jesus is like, well, he is. Because we make the rules. Not me, him. Right? He says literally, return home justified before God. So, what's the best advice I can give you today? We were coaching a football game a few weeks back, and I grew up in Arabia, Ahia, y'all, okay? And in Arabia, it's its own little country. I love it. I love the area out there, but it's like, if you say you get robbed, you're going to call the police, cops, whatever. It's going to take them 30 minutes to get out there. So what do? You handle stuff on your own, right? We have our own legal system. It's a wonderful place to live. But it's out there, in this country. But we played 3 weeks ago at South Gallia, okay? And I'm not bashing if you're from like South Gallia or went to South Gallia High School, but it's its own world. So we finished the game, we lost, kind of upset. I look at my wife and I'm like, I think the way we went took too long, so I'm gonna put in we had just like one bar service, so I put in my GPS how to get home quickest way. One of the routes was like, it's 15 minutes faster. All these back roads, I was like, hit go, that's the way we're going. So we hit go. Well, sure enough, we turn, everybody, all the fans get out of their car and are making a left to civilization, right? We turn right, go a quarter mile, and then go down a dirt road. I am not kidding you guys. My wife will verify this. You can ask her if I'm making up any of this. At one point, we were driving not gravel, not pavement. It was just like a dirt road that had craters. And she looked at me and said, we're going to destroy our car. Like, we're just like falling into these holes. And at one point, the road just completely broke off. And there's just like a little piece of, like a road this wide almost that I had to drive down. And what my GPS kept doing was like recalculating. And it kept telling me to move another time. We're 30 minutes in, pitch black at night, have no clue where we're at. There's no road signs. We're in the middle of a field. And she looked at me and said, I think we're lost. She's very smart. And I didn't care as much about that except for I heard dueling banjos playing in the background. It's inappropriate for church, guys. You laugh, inappropriate. No. It was like, what? And sure, it kept recalculating. And the only thing that saved us at all was we finally just kept driving. We're like 30 minutes in, and we hit one bar of service. As soon as we hit one bar of service, here's what happened. My phone recalculated where we actually were. Think about this for a second. As soon as my phone knew exactly where we were, then it could tell us how to get where we needed to go. You see, I think this story is awesome because instead of taking yourself so serious, we can all be honest about where we are. I can get up here and tell you guys the honest truth. Sometimes we have decisions, stuff going on. Sometimes I'm not so sure of stuff. Okay, let's be real honest. I'm not sure of stuff almost all the time. I get nervous about stuff. Right? Fair enough. In the last 3 weeks, and I don't tell my wife this. I can tell my wife this even though she's going to hear it now. I can tell my wife this because she'll be like, if I ever say like, well, someone's talking bad about me. She loves me. Who are they? You don't need to know who. I can't even tell the rest of the story because she spends an hour. Who was it? Who are they? And then she starts guessing people. She'll guess random people like you. Was it Carl? No, it wasn't Carl. Come on, man. But literally, in the last 3 weeks, I've had 3 different people trash me. Just trash me. And it hurts, but one of them, it just wasn't true. It just wasn't true. Not true at all. So I'm here Thursday with a group of people, and this lady brings it up to me. She's like, hey, this was said. Blah, blah. I didn't even know. And the whole time she's telling it to me, I'm like, but that's not true. So I left and had to go get something, and I came back, and here's what I'm ashamed to tell you guys. Now listen, if you're ever somewhere, work, home, whatever, and someone says, hey, you did this and you didn't, it's completely fine to be like, that's not true. Okay? Nothing wrong with that. But here's what I did. I left and then came back and walked in, and there's a group of people working in here. And I said, hey, in that very room, I walked in and said, hey, just so you guys know, and I explained myself. It wasn't true. That's fine. But here's why I'm telling you why I did it. Because I couldn't stand leaving for 30 minutes, going to go pick up something. The whole time I was like, but they think I'm wrong. And here it is, ready? But I'm right. And they need to know I'm right. So I walked back in, and I humbled it a little bit. I was like, look, I just want you guys to know that didn't happen. I did this, blah, blah, blah. But I walked out, and I didn't feel good. I was like, why'd I even say that? Why? because I had to prove that I was right. So as we close, how do you find your place? Well, you got to be honest about where you are. And God always welcomes honesty. God always welcomes honesty. So as we close, and I'll give you guys a fun homework assignment if you want. As we close, in 2021, America's Got Talent show on NBC, where they all do different performances, whatever. There was a girl in there, and her stage name, she went by Nightbird. Her name's Jane. Can't pronounce her last name. It's like foreign. But she goes by Nightbird, and she's from Zanesville, Ohio. She's kind of cool. And she goes on there, and she sings a song called It's Okay. And I would challenge you guys, you get home, if you get bored, go to YouTube and just look up Nightbird, America's Got Talent, and look up the song It's Okay. Great song. And she performs it. Simon Cowell gives her the golden buzzer. Awesome. Great part, right? But here's the thing. In the middle of that, when she starts, and she got shorter hair, and she talks about having cancer and how it came back, and Howie, one of them, says, "Are you doing okay right now?" And she said, "Well, yes, but I still have it in my spine and my lungs, and I think her liver, 3 different places." And they're like, "Oh, okay." And she said, "I just want to perform this song I wrote." And she starts singing it. Well, in the middle of that song, what gets me, and I listened to it on the way here just to hear it again, is she keeps saying, "It's okay, it's okay, it's okay." And it's kind of sad because you can tell she's literally probably like, it's her mind as she's going through all this stuff. And you try to start stuff, "It's okay, I'm all right, it's okay." But she's not. And the song ends with basically, it's okay to not be okay. Well, she ended up passing away. And a year before she passed away, this is her blog that she wrote, okay? And I was just thinking, this is what honesty looks like. And some of us don't like it, but it's honest. She said, "I've had cancer 3 times now, and I barely passed 30. There are times when I wonder what I must have done to deserve such a story. I fear sometimes that when I die and meet with God, that he will say I disappointed him or offended him or failed him. Maybe he'll say I just never learned the lesson or that I wasn't grateful enough. But one thing I know for sure is this: he can never say that he did not know me. I am God's downstairs neighbor banging on the ceiling with a broomstick." And check this out. "I show up at his door every day. I have called him a cheat and a liar, and I meant it. I have told him I wanted to die, and I meant it. Tears have become the only prayer I know. Call me bitter if you want to, that's fair. Count me among the angry, the cynical, the offended, the hardened. But count me also among the friends of God. For I have seen him in rare form. I felt his exhale. I laid in his shadow, squinted to read the message he wrote for me in the grout. I'm sad too." If you watch the beginning video, Sparks' amazing family. And I didn't say this in the first one because they were in here and I don't want to bring it back up, but I met with them back here twice. And what do you say? I don't know. If you guys do, let me know. But in the middle of all that, I wanted them to hear one thing, that God is saying, I'm sad too. I'm sad too. That only comes from honesty. So it's okay. So hopefully as you walk out these doors today, you realize it's okay to not always be okay. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be disappointed. It's okay for all those things. But just don't ever think that God's up there like, it's on you. He's like, no, even if you caused it yourself, I want you to know she didn't, but even if you did, I'm sad too. So this morning, here's what I'd do. I'd like to just pray for just a second. If you would, just close our eyes. Father, I pray for people in this room right now. I pray for some of us in this room, and for some of us, I think we go back and forth, God, depending on the minute. Some of us here, we are so just bent on being right. We have to prove. We have to make a point. I pray today maybe we could realize that maybe the ultimate goal of our life isn't to be right, but to be loved. God, I pray for some people in this room right now who are like, I could care less about that, God. I'm just trying to survive another day. Pray they'd realize that you are on the floor with them, saying, I'm sad too. So whatever world we're in right now, and maybe we go back and forth. Sometimes we're the Pharisee, sometimes we're the tax collector. Pray we would realize true help comes from you when we're just honest. So I pray today we could do that. I pray we could be people that will leave today and be able to exhale. Because we don't have to prove anything to anybody. We are already fully loved. And God, you know I say this so many times, but let these people hear it today. If you fully approve of us, then we don't have to prove anything to anybody. Help us to believe that today. God, I pray for some people here who are on their last string. They're hanging by a thread. Pray you'd encourage them. Even if you don't fix what's going on, that you would let them know that you are with them, that you love them. And God, I pray that C3, when this is all said and done, if we don't get anything else right, we would be known as people who didn't try to always make a point. We didn't try to make sure we were right. We just simply want to be loved. Because when we choose to be loved, instead of making a point, we make a difference. So help us be those people that I've done so many times and say, I don't get this, but are you okay? I don't get this, but I'm sorry you're going through that. I don't get this, but you can be honest with a God who loves you more than you could ever imagine. Help us to do that today. God, I pray and thank you that we get to take you really serious, but never ourselves. We ask this in your son's name. And amen. Guys, hope you have an amazing week. Love to see you back for the final week next week. Take care.
Seems to me that I'm alive again, despite the talk from the associates. Listerine won't kill the aftertaste. Another night just to